Before starting the video, I want to tell two things. First of all, I will improve as every video is going on. My pronunciation, my lecture delivering ability will be improved with every video. That is the first thing. So don't worry about that. And the next thing I want to tell, please see this video in full screen. Otherwise, you will miss some part of the page. So make sure you do the full screen in the YouTube. So the topic is pneumonia, and it's very important again for this NEET PG or AIIMS, whatever you can say. So pneumonia, you all know. So the basics, it is two types. It is either a community acquired pneumonia or it can be hospital acquired pneumonia. You all know about that. Now this community acquired pneumonia, it can be typical, it can be atypical. So it can be typical, it can be atypical. No need to worry about that. You all know that. Now this typical pneumonia is mainly affects the lobe. That's why this is known as lobar pneumonia. Whereas the atypical pneumonia, it is also known as bronchopneumonia or interstitial pneumonia. So that is the first thing I want to tell about that. Now, what is important? Who causes the typical pneumonia? There are many things like pneumococcus, like H. influenzae, like your Klebsiella, like Pseudomonas. So they are like staph. So these are the organisms that cause the typical pneumonia, whereas the atypical is caused by Mycoplasma, or it can be caused by Legionella, can be done by virus or chlamydia, but Mycoplasma is the most common cause of atypical pneumonia. Now what is the main difference between the typical and atypical? How will you differentiate the typical and atypical pneumonia? First thing, the nature. The pneumonia nature is neutrophilic. In case of typical, whether it is a lymphocytic in case of atypical. The typical pneumonia, you will see mainly pulmonary manifestation. That means the typical pneumonia, the clinical picture rounds around your lung, the breathing problem, the cough, the shortness of breath, that's the thing. But in atypical, you will find extra pulmonary manifestation, and that's a very important thing. By this extra pulmonary manifestation, you can think that it may be atypical pneumonia, may be caused by someone like Legionella or Mycoplasma. And you will see large consolidation in case of typical, and you will say some interstitial pattern in case of atypical pneumonia. Now next thing I want to tell a few two one-liners like community acquired pneumonia. Community acquired pneumonia is mainly caused by pneumococcus. We all know that pneumococcus is the most common cause of community acquired typical pneumonia, whereas atypical pneumonia is the most common cause is Mycoplasma. Mycoplasma is the most common cause of atypical pneumonia. We all know that. Now starting with a Legionella, because it's a hot topic nowadays. Legionnaire disease, it's a very important topic. Legionella. First point I want to tell, Legionella is such an organism that can cause both typical and atypical pneumonia. This point you have to remember. Legionella cause both typical and atypical pneumonia. How will you diagnose a Legionnaire disease? By a classical triad of brain manifestation, a GI disturbance, and a lung involvement. You will get a mental confusion, you will get a watery diarrhea, and you will get some features of pneumonia. So that is a classical, you will think about it's a Legionella. Otherwise, there will be history of aerosol transmission, there will be history of some air cooler, the cooler tower like that. So there will be history of like that. But remember, your car air condition doesn't transmit, because it only transmits by the air, by the water, that cool air. So in your car air condition, there is no water. So there is no chance of transmission, because you're in a car air condition, there is gas. In your room air condition, there is gas. There is no water. So whether there is a water like air cooler, you will get this problem. Legionella can be transmitted. Now the medium is BCYE medium, and one more important thing, you will get this your Legionella antigen in the urine. So it's an important point that there is a urine demonstration of antigen, and the drug of choice is azithromycin. So that's it. That's all about to know about Legionella, and you can solve all the MCQ now from the Legionella. Come to the Mycoplasma. Mycoplasma, you will see very non-specific and a very widespread manifestation. Like it can cause brain manifestation like confusion or encephalopathy, ear problem like laryngitis, GBS, myocarditis, pericarditis, parotid swelling, so everything. So you will see some lung problem like pneumonia-like problems, shortness of breath, cough, along with a widespread extrapulmonary manifestation. Think about mycoplasma, because in Legionella you will find this diarrhea, confusion and lung, and in mycoplasma you will find widespread. So mycoplasma, again the drug of choice is azithromycin. It's, you know, that's PPLO agar and Dine's method. So remember this 2 point and it covers the mycoplasma. So these two are important: Legionella, diarrhea, confusion, pneumonia, and in mycoplasma pneumonia, but many others like brain, ear, eye, heart, everything is there. And azithromycin is a drug of choice in both of them. Now this is a classical picture. It's a spotter again. Now you will see a lobar consolidation, a lobar involvement, so it must be a typical pneumonia. Now think, who caused typical pneumonia? Streptococcus, Staphylococcus, then Klebsiella, like this. Now this is a spotter. The bulging fissure sign, it is straight away diagnosis of Klebsiella. There may be a history of alcohol given, but it may not given, because this bulging fissure is a spotter in case of Klebsiella, and you have to know this. So red currant jelly sputum, or this bulging fissure sign, you think about Klebsiella. Child, pneumonia, shortness of breath and air-filled cavity. It's a pneumococcal, straight away diagnosis. It's a staph again. There is a typical pneumonia, air-filled cavity, pneumococcal, Staph aureus. So it's again a very, very interesting and a direct diagnosis. Now pneumonia, there are some many laboratory findings, but two of the major biomarkers, it's written by 2C. One is your CRP or C-reactive protein, and another is procalcitonin. But if you ask me who is the best, I will say procalcitonin is the best marker for the pneumonia. Now there is a CARP 65 criteria for the severity. It's confusion, blood urea nitrogen more than 7, respiratory rate more than 30, blood pressure more than equal to 90 in case of SBP, or more than equal to 60 in case of diastolic blood pressure. It's or, and age more than 65. So it's a criteria for this, and everyone get 1. In case of more than 3, you need to admit the patient in ICU. That's all you have to remember. And just one more point, nowadays in the modified version, this blood urea nitrogen has been removed. It is removed in case of modified now. So blood urea nitrogen is removed. Now it's a very important thing. Community acquired pneumonia, the treatment protocol, it's revised in case of Harrison 20 Edison. It's very important. In case of healthy patient, you just give azithromycin or macrolides. That's it. Don't need to worry. Or doxy you can use, but I will make it simple. Azithromycin give. In case of comorbidity, you will give levofloxacin or moxi, whatever you can say. I will write it as respiratory fluoroquinolone. That's you have to give. In case of inpatient, admit the patient. In case of non-ICU, again you have to put this as respiratory fluoroquinolones. That's it. But if it's an inpatient ICU admitted patient, you have to give beta-lactam plus respiratory fluoroquinolones. That's it. It's an easy thing again. In case of MRSA, you have to give beta-lactam, you have to give fluoroquinolone, you have to give linezolid, you have to give clindamycin. So keep it simple. Beta-lactam, fluoroquinolone, linezolid, clindamycin, both are given, and also vancomycin given sometime in place of linezolid. In case of pseudomonas, give anti-pseudomonal beta-lactam plus fluoroquinolone plus azithromycin. So that's the treatment protocol. I must say the important thing is this MRSA. It's important. Beta-lactam, fluoroquinolone, linezolid or vancomycin plus clindamycin you have to give. HIV patient, immunocompromised patient, pneumonia. Think none other than pneumocystis. You will see bilateral reticulonodular infiltrate, but that's not an important thing. Think about pneumocystis. Drug of choice, also the prophylaxis. We use one drug, and that is known as cotrimoxazole. Cotrimoxazole we use. So that is the thing. Now, pentamidine. IV pentamidine. In case of severe disease, we use IV pentamidine. in case of severe disease. IV pentamidine, not aerosolized pentamidine, because aerosolized pentamidine is used in case of prophylaxis. In case of treatment, we give IV pentamidine. That's the important thing. If it's PaO2 less than 70, you can give glucocorticoid. And one more thing I want to add, the diagnosis is by bronchoalveolar lavage, by the staining of the sputum. That's it. Now, cotrimoxazole, that is a drug of choice or the prophylaxis. In case of this pneumocystis, it used one more pneumonia known as nocardia. So that's all about your pneumonia. So you may subscribe the channel to get the further videos. Thank you.